Hello, everybody. I wanted to discuss or really explore a few new topics based on a self care perspective. Ones that we use quite often, and because they're generally not very, let's say, rounded towards health and self care, I wanted to reevaluate them in a way that we can apply these standard terms into a version that complies very well with self care and therefore kind of lead to a more, let's say, healthy understanding of the term. So we generally use the word age or aging or getting old, and it generally describes a process of kind of fading away and loss of health and loss of all these important things that we generally assume that youth gives you. And I've done videos on this before, but I wanted to kind of round it out with a new thinking. So I think aging is better used in a way of understanding not particularly one's chronological age or biological age in a way, but the amount that they are connected to their environment. So aging in the self-care perspective would be the disconnection from the physical realm of things, the mental realm of things, or the emotional realm of things. This aging is really the person becoming disconnected, we used, but kind of disassociated, not putting value on. This is generally the overall shrinking of the person from life as opposed to movement towards it. Now, this also being said, at any age you can experience tremendous amounts of mental, physical, and emotional connection, and therefore the lack of aging, and still live a very happy and profound life. Also, that being said, we can also say then, at any age, we can also experience the reverse, the disconnection of ourselves from our environment, therefore causing us to age quicker, if you want to call it something. Now, this is easily seen by people that are stressed out. Stress is generally a kind of disconnection from those things. And we'd say that, oh, this person's aged so much or aged not well, right? And in other cases, we would say this person aged really well. They still look youthful. They still look young. They still look vital, right? So I think this is a more appropriate to the human process of life and in seeing health. Because if we just say that age makes you disconnected from life, that's not true. And do you stop being able to function properly just because you're older? I wouldn't say that's true either. I would say, however, that in the case, and this is generally synonymous with, I guess, how we view aging as the standard term, is that when somebody becomes older, then they lose those connections. They lose the ability to be active, be able to contribute to society, use their usefulness, I guess, as opposed to like they were a tool for some use. But when we look at the human aspect of it, one always retains their ability to do great things regardless of their age in number. And we have to keep the human element always alive in the things that we do and how we look at things. So that is one term I really wanted to kind of clarify, that they are two different things. And we want to be very mindful when we are starting to disconnect from those things, that we immediately start trying to recover the things that we're losing. So if we feel a loss in the mental, physical, or emotional, we want to be aware of this. We want to see, why is this happening? We want to take a look at the lifestyles that are contributing. We want to take a look at the beliefs. What are we believing about ourselves or about others that's causing us to kind of pull away from life? Pulling away from life can also be seen as pulling away from people. That's also a very strong indicator that we're starting to disconnect. Pulling away from the things that we enjoy, that's another kind of telltale sign. And I would say also pulling away from our ability to do greater things than we're doing. This is also a kind of disconnection. So I guess these would be the three kind of precursor states. When these things start to happen, we know that something has been kind of building in the background, and this is kind of the start of the, let's say, not so positive expression of those things. And if we work with that model, we're able to solve it before it starts kind of throwing out the body's way of balancing itself out of whack. Because if that gets thrown off, then there's just a lot more moving parts, and it becomes a lot more of a challenge to regain balance to those things. So hopefully that gives people a little bit more understanding of how self-care views aging as more of a disconnection as opposed to just getting older, and that we can use this model to then reevaluate ourselves and make sure that we stay young.